When the temperatures drop, they like to warm up their car. But leaving your car running can make you vulnerable to car theft. The goal of this program is to help with investigations, but they're also hoping it makes people think twice before committing a crime. Stores have been replenishing their shelves all day long, especially since shoppers have been stocking up on much more than just toilet paper. She and her little sister are glad their heroes were around to save them from being trapped beneath the frigid water. A local child care agency would keep their van parked here directly across from the heavily traveled South Green River Road. But even that wasn't enough to prevent thieves from coming in and stealing their catalytic converter. Crews have been working around the clock trying to make this recovery successful.
It wasn't anything I planned and anything I would ever plan or imagine, but I'm glad we did it, and I wouldn't change it.
Here Comes the Bride echoed through the ICU at Ascension St. Vincent in Evansville during a spontaneous wedding ceremony. Shelby Schweikart-Conville and her loved ones pulled it off in just 30 minutes, acting fast after finding out her father's cancer was back and spreading to his lungs. The doctors told her there was nothing else they could do.
And so one of my friends was like, do you just want to get married here? Because, you want your dad to see it, because I know how close my dad and I are.
Since her father was still awake, they quickly brought the wedding to him before it was too late.
I had my best friend's dad, which I've been really close to since I was 5, walk me to his room, and it was a surprise for my dad. He didn't know we were going to do that.
He even got to hand the happy couple their wedding rings. This was the special touch they'll never forget.
I'm just so happy he got to see it.
The untraditional ceremony is now an unforgettable memory their family and her father will hold close in their hearts for eternity. Something her father expressed without even being able to talk through his ventilator.
After we got married, he said, you guys made me so happy on the dry erase board. So I think that's what I'll cherish the most about all of it.
Even though Shelby and her husband Jared were supposed to get married in the fall, she says their vision meant nothing if it meant getting married without her best friend by her side.
I just want him to be there.
Nothing's ever going to be the same when he's not here anymore. He's that kind of guy. Nothing will ever be the same because he is the life of the party, he really is.
But his memory will live on. The couple is planning on telling their future children all about the memories they shared.
He lights up the room.
Yes,
he's that guy.
Him.
You hear that guy laugh one time and you want to go talk to him. You know what I mean? It's just, he's really something.
So far, he's overcoming the odds.
He's tired of fighting it, but he's still fighting it.
He's still responsive after being taken off life support and taken back home, spending the remainder of his life surrounded by loved ones. Joylyn Bukovac, 44 News.
As many people.
I wish he could talk. I wish he could tell us what he's been doing for 2 years.
Robin Vaughn and her wife, Angela Brown, are both from the Tri-State, but they moved to Panama City 6 years ago. October 10th, 2018, they found themselves braving Hurricane Michael.
We were in a zone that was told not to evacuate the day before, and about 2 hours before it made landfall, we all knew it was going to be really bad.
The house they were renting was destroyed. Their family was trapped inside the home for days.
Finally, some kind people cut through the trees, and we were able to get out after 4 days.
They eventually made it to Clay, Kentucky and Evansville, Indiana to be with family.
And that's where we put our fur babies.
Vaughn says they left their dogs and cats with her wife's daughter, who had a house in Evansville at the time.
And her daughter, a few days after Sinatra was there, had opened the door and he got out. So he wasn't familiar with that neighborhood, and they looked for him.
Even after they went back home to Florida, people were still looking for Sinatra.
So this went on for days and days and days that turned into weeks, that turned into months.
They thought Sinatra was microchipped when he was neutered, but it turns out the vet forgot. But Brown wouldn't give up hope. She would post on Facebook and even had people looking for the cat.
There was a lot of false hope because, we'd get our hopes up when somebody'd find a cat that would look like him, and then we'd check it to every detail and it wouldn't be him. And it just broke my heart to see her cry and to see our son, who Sinatra was his best friend.
Linda Walker from Another Chance for Animals found Sinatra more than 2 years after he went missing.
She found him just a couple of miles from where that home where he was originally lost. By the grace of God and some good folks in Evansville, Indiana, we got him home. Say, hey, I'm glad to be home.
I genuinely thought I was going to die last night. I accepted at one point that these men were going to kill me.
Haven Merriweather spent Sunday night in the hospital being treated for the injuries she suffered in the house break-in. She said what happened in her home was chaos.
I was attacked in my home.
Merriweather says a few of her friends were hanging out at her house on the 1400 block of East Sycamore Street when her home was invaded by at least 2 men. She says she told her friends to stay put. As for the suspects,
Well, one knocked on my front door, and another one busted out my back window and came in through my back window and started demanding and asking me for money that was hidden in my room.
Merriweather says during the incident she thought she was looking at her final moments.
They beat me in the head more than 12 times with a shotgun. It kicked me and dragged me through my house.
She says the struggle ended after they dragged her into her 3-year-old son's room. As the suspects left, Merriweather heard gunshots, but no one was hit.
But thankfully, I have amazing neighbors who do have cameras, and they got great camera footage.
Merriweather says she's grateful her toddler was not home at the time. She did not recognize the men who broke into her home, but hopes investigators can track them down soon.
I hope that this doesn't happen to anyone else. I have 2 staples in my head, and I can barely use my arm. And they got away with $400.